Alabama get back on track in 2023 and win a national championship again? I think the answer to that is yes, but we're going to take a look at how that happens in 2023 with the schedule that's up on deck. And you're also going to take a look at the players that are going to have to make that happen. Now, just like any team in the SEC, it's really not going to be too much of a surprise to see who's on the schedule. You kind of know who they're going to get in the West, and you kind of have an idea who you might get in the East as well. The game against Texas at home obviously is huge. Texas should be much better in 2023 than they were in 2022, although they did give Alabama a run for their money last year as well. So then there's the trip to USF. That's not going to be a loss, but that's just a really interesting opportunity for both sides. Now, the next game, the game against Ole Miss, is always an interesting one because Lane Kiffin is someone who is capable of pulling off an upset, but Alabama is just on a different level than Ole Miss, and that's what makes things really interesting because we're looking at a really talented team on both sides. It's just a matter of who's going to prepare better, who maybe has that edge. And it feels like Alabama is there, but again, we'll look at the personnel and explain why that maybe isn't as true as it once was. At Mississippi State is an interesting one, followed by at Texas A&M. That is another challenge as well. Texas A&M should be a much better team this year than they were last year. Two road games against two tough SEC opponents. That makes life pretty difficult. Arkansas don't really know what they're going to be now that their offense is going to look a little bit different, although KJ Jefferson is returning, so that still makes them a potential dangerous team. Tennessee could be an extremely dangerous team again. Now, Alabama lost to Tennessee last year. They know what it's going to take to beat Tennessee, but they also understand that Tennessee can pull off the upset and they can beat Alabama. It is at Tennessee, so that are at home, excuse me, this time instead of on the road. So that is a big, big thing for Alabama. But then following that up with another huge game, LSU. Now, this is a tough two-game stretch, although they get a little bit extra time to prepare for LSU. That is really, really nice for this team. And then after that, outside of the Auburn game, Kentucky probably on the road could be a bit challenging, but this Alabama team should be much better than that Kentucky team. Now, when you're looking at wins versus losses, again, a lot of this I think depends on the personnel because we saw Alabama take kind of a step back last year. And now we're wondering, what are we going to get in 2023? Are they going to be better? Is Nick Saban going to get back on track where he needs to be? A lot of it stems from replacing NFL talent at certain positions. Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but a lot of that plays into how does this team handle certain games like the Texas game, like the Texas A&M game, the Tennessee LSU game. This is a team that is going to face a lot of challenges, and for the first time in what seems like forever, this is a team that we maybe have more questions than we once did in the past. Now, everybody is going to start with the quarterback battle. You have to start with Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. Now, both of them have two very different skill sets. I think both of them can throw, and Simpson is the better passer. Milroe is the more explosive athlete. So it kind of depends on what you're running. Now, if Bill O'Brien had stayed, Ty Simpson probably has the leg up in that regard. Jalen Milroe is an extremely talented player. I think that he has the ability to be better than he was last year. Now, with Tommy Reese coming in to run the offense, you're looking at maybe a little bit different look than what we saw in 2022. Now, whether or not Milroe fits that scheme is remains to be seen. But one thing I do know, the talent around them is going to be incredible. I think that you're looking at another extremely talented Alabama skill position group of players. You look at even the wide receivers this year, Ja'Cory Brooks, Kobe Prentice, Jermaine Burton, all back, and you're bringing in talent left and right as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. This is a team that is not going to be short on talent. It's just a matter of can they play to their potential. Now, when you flip over to the defensive side of the ball, the same can be true. Even without Will Anderson, even without Henry Toto, you're looking at guys that are NFL players and you're having to replace them. Now, the nice thing about Alabama is they have been used to that for so long. They reload every single year with talent. They have 4 and 5 star kids coming in every single year. So it's not a matter of do they have enough talent to get by. They have plenty of talent. It's just a matter of getting things back to where they need to be. Now, the defense too, kind of took a little bit of a step back. It wasn't the dominant defense that we once knew with Alabama. Is that a sign of the times? I don't believe so. I don't believe that Nick Saban all of a sudden has lost his touch. He has adapted to pretty much every change in college football, and I don't think that changes in 2023. I think that he is going to find a way to get his team extremely motivated after missing the college football playoff last year. I think that you're looking at a really talented team that has a chip on their shoulder, which is a potentially dangerous team to face, but this is still a talented SEC. This is a talented group of college football teams, and Alabama has their hands full. And that's going to be true every single year because of the conference they play in. And everybody is still gunning for Alabama. Just because they've taken a step back and Georgia has taken the throne doesn't mean that Alabama is just all of a sudden off the hook. Teams still want to beat them. Teams bring their best when they're facing Alabama. Alabama has that brand that everybody knows, and you're going to want to try and beat them. Now, when you look at this team as a whole, again, Nick Saban, the greatest coach in college football history. The fact that he is still coaching right now and still winning at the clip that he is pretty impressive. So when you're looking at this team and what they should do, you should expect a national championship if you're an Alabama fan. You should expect a national championship if you're on this team. Everybody expects that. That is the expectation when you come to Alabama, is to win a national championship. And the talent is there in order to reach that goal. It's just, can you do it? Can you put together enough wins on a challenging schedule in a challenging conference? And are you able to make things happen in a program that has high expectations, but can you meet those expectations? There's some key pieces gone, some big time key pieces. When you look at Will Anderson, Bryce Young, those are humongous pieces that aren't going to be easily replaced, but you have to do it. You simply cannot just wait and let everybody else maybe slip up. You have to take control, and Nick Saban knows that. This team knows that, and it's going to be fun to see how do they bounce back, how do they get the revenge on some of these teams, and how do they get back to the top of college football.